really bad precedents when we let developers just say, this is what we want, you have to take this because otherwise we're going to go away. It's a very threatening situation, and I'm not pleased with it. We just went through that, as Tony said, last week, and what they were saying wasn't even true. We do have a lot of projects that are coming forward. Theirs was not the only project. They acted like that was the only project that was coming to Daytona Beach, and we should be forever grateful to them for coming to Daytona Beach. And you have to remember that when you do something like this, when you give a developer all these special rules and say, go do what you want to, it sets a precedent for the next guy. And that has to be stopped. And I guess that's pretty much what I have to say about that, but that we have a land development code for a reason. And I like to give this example. In Texas, I'm not picking on Texas, but in Texas, they built a school next to a fertilizer plant because they didn't have any zoning rules. And guess what happened? The fertilizer plant blew up. Oh, then that's not a surprise. Luckily, it blew up in the middle of the night and not the middle of the day. But this is why you have zoning rules in place so people just don't go do whatever they want to do. Yeah.
I agree, we have rules for a reason, and I think we need to stick to those rules when it's smart for everybody.
I'm sorry. Maybe you should ask the person to ask it.
And there's a couple other questions ahead of that. What amount of jobs would be acceptable to you to allow you to disregard the height limits and setback rules?
What amount of jobs?
Yeah, well, you know.
I think this is a question for me, actually.
Well, it's actually for all three of you, but whoever wants to start can start.
Okay. Now, the question was what amount of jobs?
Yeah, you know, I think what the employment situation the developer is bringing
Right.
be
Okay.
acceptable.
So, for me, I'll give an example of the hotel that was Wednesday at the city commission meeting. They were trying to, change the rules that we have in place. For me, they said they were bringing about 50 jobs to the community, and those jobs oftentimes are low-wage jobs, and they were sort of bragging that they are the economic engine of the county, which isn't true. So for me, it's, if they want to bring 50 jobs, that's cool, right? If they want to bring 50 jobs that is going to pay, $8 an hour, that's not good. Now, if they bring 50 jobs that are going to pay people a living wage, then I'm okay with looking into some other considerations. If that answers the question, because I believe I'm the only one that said I would look into the job situations, the wages, in order to sort of give tax abatements or whatever have you to corporations coming to the city.
I'll just say, I think there's no number of jobs. I think when you talk about making some amendments to what you've already supported, then you have to bring some valid things to the table. Like for me, what is valid? How many jobs, what are the jobs, and how much are they paying?
There you go. Thank you.
What is the advantages of the economic development for Daytona, tax base wise? If you give me some clear, concise answers, then and only then would I make some considerations. But rules are made to be followed. And if we're going to support height limits, then we need to support them. But if we're going to have a conversation, because we all as a commission, not just Tony, not just Zone 1, Zone 2, Zone 3, but as a whole, we ultimately have to make a decision as one team. Then I'm gonna pose some additional questions from that developer that's gonna help me to make my decision that I'm gonna make representing all of those people that I represent. Because ultimately they're gonna look back at me and say, you voted for that, but at least they was able to give you a breakdown of how many jobs, how much they was paying, and so on.
Would you repeat the question? Is it just about residential development?
I don't think so. No, because it's about jobs.
What's,
The-
repeat the question.
the document. What amount of jobs would be acceptable to you to allow you to disregard height limits and setback rules?
Well, that's pretty much residential development. Probably not much, because the only thing that, a little bit of give is a good thing, but I think you have to get a lot more back. And I think that if you're going to have minimum wage jobs, and the tourism industry is notorious for minimum wage jobs, I think that you have to at least say you need to hire people from Daytona Beach. Because what you'll see is people coming over from Orlando to work in these hotels. You won't see our people being put to work necessarily. And so if you're just talking about residential development, I don't think that it matters how many jobs that a building has once the building is built. Because I don't think that they're going to be quality jobs, and I don't think it's going to pay living wages for people, and I think that's what we really need in this city. So I think we need to have a broader-based economic development and not just focus it all on residential development.
So I'm clear, when you say residential development, are you talking about hotels?
Yeah, hotels or
Okay.
condos
Right,
or,
thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
Because I think that was the question, because the others don't really talk about, if you have an industry coming, they're not looking at setbacks and height limits. They have a whole different set of standards, so that's why I wanted to kind of qualify that.
Okay, here's the next question. I am concerned about the fact that our citizens' comments have been shortened. What will each of you do to see our voices are heard and restore our minutes back to 3 minutes?
Amen.
And to move them, comment section, to the beginning of the meeting?
Well, I'll start. Well, you know, we're having recently sat in on a commission meeting. I do